Hello guys, welcome. I don't do book recommendations much because honestly, I won't make an excuse, but I don't get time to read a lot. It's either something going on here or something going on in my life, or I'm either just busy with my work. I don't get to read a lot, but when I do read a book and it's very good, I can't stop talking about it. So I thought, I have a channel, might as well just blabber on that, right? I read today, not today, it has been some days actually, but I read this I Want to Die But I Still Want to Eat Tteokbokki. This is a two-part series and this is the second book. The first one is I Want to Die But I Want to Eat Tteokbokki. I just went directly to the second book because I like to skip ahead in my life. This is written by Baek, Sehee, and the format of this book is mostly like she's going through her own struggles. It is autobiographical and the format of the book is mostly like she's having certain conversation with her therapist, and later she writes a paragraph on how she dealt with that understanding, or there's an understanding, and then later on she discusses, she writes the conversation she had with the therapist regarding the same. So we see progress in her life through her lens in real time. By the end of the book, she starts incorporating what happened when she was publishing this book. She was in the process of publishing her first book, and then when she started writing her this book, and we get like real glimpses into what has happened, what her psyche and psychology was like during that time, and somehow you feel very close with the author and can't help rooting for her because what she goes through are very real struggles. Like, not something very drastic has happened, but such is our life, right? Nothing drastically happens, but they still affect us a lot. And people say that you're overreacting, and you start internalizing that voice. You start telling yourself, oh, maybe I'm just overreacting. But the truth of the emotion is that it's always present. You can't just tell your emotion that you're overreacting. You feel what you feel. So that is what she explored in this book. Sometimes she calls out her own bullshit and is not afraid to be real with you. And the way that she writes, her writing style is very warm. I completed this in a day. It's a very short read, agreed. But with me, it's like I have a lot of things. Like, I have sort of ADHD when it comes to books and literature. I want to read everything. So it's very difficult for me to pick a book and stick to it. But I picked this book, I stuck to it, I read it in a day, and it was such a good experience, Because the insight is from a therapist, and if you're going through something, I will say you can take help for your own struggles. I will go for the first part as well, even though I skipped it. Also, one thing that's very noteworthy in this book about the therapist that I really liked is that many times the therapist recommended certain course of actions, Of course, because the therapist can't force you, it can just gently lead the way. Many times the therapist did recommend certain things, but Baek ended up not doing that, or doing something completely opposite, and still ended up living a good life, and still ended up healing after that. So I liked how that dynamic took place in that. Even after that happening, Baek didn't leave her therapist because she knew the therapist is doing something good. And regardless of what the therapist is recommending, she doesn't have to take everything at face value. She can twist and turn the recommendations and do the things her way. Right? Like in the starting of the book, the therapist constantly pushed her to not quit her job in the mindset that she was in, because that she'll later on come to regret it. But she did quit the job, and later on she did quit the job, and she didn't regret it. And the way it was written very subtly in it was like she's not accusing anyone, she's just saying truths can be different for different people, right? Experiences can be different. The therapist on one hand recommended not to quit the job, and that she'll end up regretting it. She didn't. That would be it for this recommendation. See you in the next one. Bye bye.